What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to another episode of The Frame Is Not on the Table, Low Life Chopper Podcast.
Happy Friday, you chopperinos. Don't know what that is.
Oh my god. We're back with the second episode, the second build series episode. I'm excited about this one. This is when the fun stuff starts to happen. It's when we get to start talking about frames and the geometry. Ooh, I know some people are going to like that rake and trail talk. We'll talk about the wheels and the front end and the frames. All the good stuff. We're picking out all the good stuff this episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. This one is going to be a little bit more, this is the fun stuff, the fab stuff.
Yeah. But before we do that, time for that motherfucking housekeeping.
I don't have any housekeeping.
Shout out to Easy Co and La Spada. The swap meet was sick. I picked up a dope 39 millimeter from fucking Chicken Richard. Which is nice. Didn't need it, but Chicken Rick knows how to fucking dangle that carrot in your face of the good prices. Chicken Rick got the fucking best bargains in Connecticut. So I had to scoop it up just in case. One of the homies is going to need a 39 millimeter one day, and those motherfuckers are starting to be extinct.
Yeah, dude, everybody wanted that too. You got that first thing in the morning, and
yeah,
everybody was coming up to the table.
Oh, I set it up. I set it up the night before, dude.
Yeah.
So got that. Picked up an alternator cover off of why am I drawing a blank right now? Oxford Co Choppers. Is it Oxford Co Choppers?
It's Oxford Co. Choppers.
I just want to say Oxford Chopper Co.
Me too.
But I guess that would be close to Easy Co, right? Anyways, Oxford Co. Choppers. He made an alternator cover a while back, just out of a stock primary.
Oh yeah, that thing was
sick. It's super fucking cool. It's super
really
fucking
nice.
cool. So I scooped that off him. Got to talk to a lot of fucking people. Everybody was there. Chopper Bob, Chicken Rick. I haven't seen him in a while, so it's cool to chop it out with him a little bit. Steve from Deadbeat.
Steve
got to fucking talk with everybody. It was great. Got to fucking hang out with Truth for a while from Chopperhead and the Big Truth podcast. That was a lot of fucking fun chopping up with him. It was just all around. It was needed. It was much needed time with my fellow fucking peers.
Bro, I'm gonna say this is the best swap meet I've ever been to.
I love it,
dude. Number one, it was tons of fucking chopper parts.
Yeah,
Number
it was
two,
all chopper parts, I would say.
Cheap, dude. I got a CV carb for $10. I got mad shit, dude. I sold a ton of shit too. I made hundreds of dollars.
You sold a bunch of shit.
I sold a lot of money. I sold a lot. I drank a lot of it away. A lot of it was exchanged for other parts that I didn't need. But it was a chopper builder's like dream, dude. Everybody from the Northeast was there, from Connecticut, all the major players. They all had fucking wild shit. This dude across from us sold 2 Sportster motors. All right, full Sportster motors,
a 4-speed and a 5-speed,
a 1200 and an 883 for $100. $100, dude.
It was fucking crazy.
That's what we're talking about, dude. The swap meets are back. All the fucking people that weren't about it with the fucking expensive bullshit, dude.
Yeah, the people that were scalping the fucking community, gone.
Yeah.
See you, bud.
Dirt bags. Back to just dirt bags, dude.
It's just back to guys who build, and you're getting the deals. So for all you scalpers, if you listen to this show, stop. Don't even listen to the show because we don't like you, okay? We want our
cheap parts back,
and dude. You know who you are.
I'm going to make a hat. Make swap meets great again. That's our next hat. And I think we're getting there, buddy, because that was the best. It was hands down the best swap meet I've ever been to. Most successful.
Yeah.
Dude, Dan built an entire shovel head in an afternoon. He got a fucking frame. Dude, he got a transmission. And he ain't made of money, dude. I mean, this shit was affordable. It was like The prices you
Dude,
want to pay for that shit.
I seen 3 hardtailed shovel frames. All 3 of them under $500.
Mm-hmm.
Under $500.
Oh yeah,
Know what
dude.
I'm saying?
Dude, they had sick ass springers, dude. There was just so much good stuff, and there was no takeoff parts, dude. It was all just like everybody brought their chopper shit. It was
Yeah.
fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was so fun. What a great day. What a good swap. And perfect timing, dude. It actually, I've been like dragging my ass on doing shit to my shovel. But after that swap meet, I was like, I dug right in. It like fucking inspired me. Got lit a
Oh
fire
yeah.
under my ass,
Same.
Yep. Yeah.
Same. Yeah, I got fired up, dude. Made a fucking roller after the swap meet. I was
Yep.
fired the fuck up.
Yeah, I want another one. It was so much fun.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So great swap meet. Yeah. Again, Easy Co. and La Spada. They always do a good show, but that's a dope spot. And this was, yeah, I'm going to say it's my favorite swap meet I've ever been to. It's not the biggest, but it was the best. It's like if you go to a swap meet like Keene or Stafford Springs.
Yeah, cut out all the bullshit.
Yeah, there's guys like selling stupid patches and all that shit. There was none of that there. It was just like, dirty chopper builder dudes that had chopper parts. It was so beautiful, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
And good shit too. Not just like all like crusty, rusty, shitty shit.
Nice stuff, dude.
There was good shit there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I brought
some whole motors.
Shit,
seen some shovel motors.
I brought, usually I bring all my shit, but I was just like this. I just brought like my cool, like, like hard drive mid Frisco pegs and shit like that, like the elite stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. I'm getting all pumped all over again. I was juiced Saturday night.
Oh yeah, dude. The swap meet got me fired up, man. It was good to see everybody. It was good to see all the parts. It was good to see the prices are coming back down to normal. It just made you feel good. And
you didn't get like fucked on a bunch of parts that you didn't need. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just like, oh, you like felt good about the purchase, and everybody was like super high spirits. And
yeah, we had the pepperoncinis. Cool. The pepperoncinis were flowing.
Pepperoncinis, yeah, dude.
I
had like 30 of those things.
Yeah, same. I was eating them this morning actually before I went to work at 6 a.m.
Yeah, people were walking up to the table like, we're like, hey, you want a pepperoncini? And they're like, no, I don't want heartburn at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. No thanks. Yeah, just a sip of coffee. Yeah, pepperoncini.
Yeah,
they ain't that hot.
For you, real quick, for you guys that don't have IG, you haven't got to see this roller yet, so I'm gonna show you. But we're not gonna get into anything on the build. We're gonna talk about that after we finish this series, in hopes that I have more done and more to talk about. But for you guys that don't have Instagram, that don't do social media, here's your chance. Go to YouTube, and if you go to, I'll give you the minute marker. This will be a little different because we still got to put the intro in, but roughly about 8.5 minutes in, you can see Loctite's fucking roller as it sits. Okay. Yo.
That's such a nice stance.
She gorgeous. Got the Mullins Narrow fucking trees on it.
Those are pimping, dude. Those are slick.
Oh shit.
With the shaved lowers to match.
Yeah, shave lowers.
Did I just see your cock out? Is your cock out?
Yeah. I actually do these naked. I just put
from the waist down
and hoodie on. Oh fuck. So yeah, I don't have as cool of a backdrop anymore. Still got the shovel motor for now. But we're losing the backdrop slowly, boys.
That's good.
Which is a good
thing. Put
thing.
It up on the table, dude.
Yeah.
Hoist that whole thing up.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, so actually, I guess I just remembered a couple of housekeeping items. I just want to say thank you for everybody that has been buying the camp mugs. We have that deal going on. Buy a camp mug, get a code for $5 off. Bump Shop Diaries. black coffee congregation. I was showing Loctite over this weekend. Every single person that's bought stuff from our new line has bought a camp mug.
Yeah.
Or a mug.
It's always like a shirt and a mug, a hat and a mug, a mug and a mug.
Yeah. Like those mugs. And you don't want to be the only one. Like when we go to fucking Deadbeat, everybody's going to be bringing their camp mugs. We're all going to have them. You don't want to be left out.
You don't want to be the only one.
You want to be in the mug club, bro. So go grab a mug. But
go try that fucking. What is that coffee called? Hardtail? Isn't it Hardtail blend or something like that?
Hardtail blend, yeah, Hardtail blend. Dude, it's roasted to order. Some serious shit.
I'm gonna have to order some. I don't have a fancy bean grinder or anything like that, so I'm gonna have to get the ground shit. But
yeah, well, I think he roasts it and grinds it and packs it and ships it. Yeah, that dude is serious about his coffee.
Yeah, he's a gangster.
Yeah, and
check out. By the way, go check out Bump Shop Diaries. I was just listening to, and just so you know, they're not only on Instagram. This isn't just an Instagram thing. You go to Spotify, type in Bump Shop Diaries, and there's like, what do you call those? Like webisodes, like mini episodes. They're like 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, something like that. And they're super fucking cool, man. I was working on the front end of this thing today, and just had them fucking play in the background. They're like little stories, and they're dope because old fucking Rodney Neenock got a great fucking radio voice, dude.
Neenock?
Yeah.
I didn't know his last name.
That's not his last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I strictly just made that up.
Good, because I just laughed at
it. Anyways, yeah, huge shout out to Evo Jesus. Big shout out to Bump Shop Diaries for collabing with us. I think we got to do something. Maybe we put up a coffee mug where it's one side is Low Life Shop Podcast and the other side is Bump Shop.
Yeah, we should do something like that.
Yeah, do a collab with him. But anyways, huge shout out to him. He was shouting us out on his last podcast, shouting out Crazy Gentleman podcast, shouting out everybody. He's another dude. He's like us. He just wants to see everybody winning. So go support Bump Shop Diaries. Check them out. Order some motherfucking coffee. Buy some vintage clothing. And listen to the man with the perfect radio voice tell you some amazing old chopper stories. They're fucking great.
They're awesome. They're
the only complaint I have is I want them to be longer.
I want a full-length motion picture.
I don't even care. I can just picture it with my brain because he paints the story so nicely.
Yeah.
I just want them to be longer. I want them to be like full 1.5 hour episodes. Of just like stories.
With Ben Affleck. Yeah, featuring Ben Affleck. Acted out with explosions and CGI.
So anyways, go check them out. And tell them we fucking sent you.
Yeah. The other thing, January giveaway sponsor. Guys, Patreons are pouring in, baby, because everybody wants a piece of this. All right? Oh, boy. He was at the swap. He's about it. He's a real one.
Solid
Oxford Co. Choppers. Yeah, solid fucking dude. I bought a lot of stuff off him and his boy there. I bought the bags and all that shit. They had some primo shit, but they were just big chilling at the front door. But yeah, these bars are sick. We're going to be pulling that in, like 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
So go
and
ahead.
Make sure you go follow them on Instagram.
Definitely. You're not winning.
Because if we pull your name and you're not following them, you ain't winning, bro.
What if they don't have
Go follow the boys. Oh, yeah, that sucks.
If you're a Patreon, if you have an Instagram, we're going to scold you. We're going to make... Here's the thing. It's not a choice. If you're not following them, we're going to make you follow them. So you will be following them.
I'll hunt you down.
And if you don't have an Instagram, you can't follow them. But, yeah, I don't know. Got ourselves into a little bit of a pickle there.
Yeah, I never thought of that before. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you have Instagram, go follow him. Even if you're not part of the Patreon, go fucking follow him. He's a real motherfucker doing real motherfucker shit and sells parts for a great fucking price. Yeah, he's the real deal parts. Holyfield.
Yep. Yeah, so go to lowlifechopperpodcast.com. That has links to everything.
So fancy.
Oh, dude, we fancy as fuck. But yeah, thanks everybody for visiting the website last week after we announced it. Thank you for following us on YouTube.
Is there like a counter on this? You can see how many people visit it.
Yeah,
Dope.
yeah. I
Dude, you
forget
know
how
what we
many
should
it
add
was.
on there? Because I know you're a big tech guy. You love fucking just spending all your free time up in the attic, fucking making shit. Listen, hear me out. Do you have surveillance cameras in your garage?
Yeah,
Oh, listen. What if we create a link where anytime we're in the garage, we can turn it on or off, and people can just click the link and live stream us working in the garage?
that's cool.
It's kind of creepy, but it kind of be like, you know,
It'll kind of be like that. Like,
people, people just be like sitting back, rubbing their belly button and shit, watching us
yeah,
work on our bikes.
yeah, yeah. We should do something like that. Maybe we do a garage night or something. Do a live stream. I'm still trying to figure out the live stream stuff's really hard to do,
Yeah,
but embedding that into a website, I might have to get some
enlist
help on
some
that.
IT help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I mean, I get by, but like that sounds hard.
Yeah, it does not sound easy.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a way to do it.
There's got to be some kind of like app or like something, some like
There's definitely a way to do it. They do
yeah, there's
that
got to be like
shit
some website that you can link in the thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, they do that for like science like universities and shit.
Yeah, do
They'll
it
put
like
a camera on
Nest,
like an
dude.
eagle, an eagle
Yeah,
nest, and it's just 24-hour live stream.
yeah. There's some hunting things that like hunting people that I follow, and they have a live stream in their food plots, so you can just click on it any time and just see like deer like moseying around in the field.
Yeah. In fact, I really kind of already have a live stream 24/7 in my garage because like my we have a camera in the garage and my wife sets it up because we had a cat that ran away and
Mm.
every night she leaves my garage door open a crack, puts a cat food can down and has that. And when we've actually caught her before, she'll come in and eat the food and she has the remote garage door opener and she'll be like, "Gotcha, bitch." But then she ends up running away again. But I have a 24-hour
Nice.
live feed. I just have to figure out how to get that live feed onto the website.
Yeah,
Choppers and cats.
yeah.
The
Yeah, I
occasional
got a
raccoon
24-hour
too.
live feed in here too, but I just don't know how you would. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got 24-hour live feed inside the garage, outside of the house, and the back of the garage.
We need a young intern that'll
we
work
do.
for college credits. Anybody who
Yeah.
want to volunteer?
Yeah, listen, if you're in college for IT shit and you need some fucking community service hours, your boys got you.
It's unpaid. We want to be very clear about that.
Yes. We'll pay you
But there's
in takeoff parts.
there's fringe benefits though.
Friends with benefits?
Fringe benefits.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Anyways, this episode, we're almost 20 minutes in. We haven't even talked about a chopper yet.
But we haven't talked about food yet.
Oh.
I was just going to bring up hot dogs, but I won't. Because a lot of people have been sending me hot dog carts and shit on Facebook.
That could be a thing.
It will be a thing. Just
we could build a Servi car hot dog cart.
Dude, have Dan paint it.
Yeah. Fiberglass, a giant wiener cab on it.
Dude, that'd be sick.
It's like a 2-story cab, so you're on the bottom driving and your head sticks out. And then I like climb up and sit above you, and my head sticks out at the top.
Yeah.
2-story wiener.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen now. All right. So we had... Ready to dive into the episode? Any other housekeeping? Okay.
Yeah. Are we going to recap last week real quick or no?
Yeah, we can recap. And there's actually some people had reached out with some things that maybe we forgot to review that wanted to talk about. So last week we talked about, basically platform, like the engine and transmission, where to get them, what to look out for, how to do a rebuild, things like that. But one thing, since we're from New Hampshire, this isn't come up a lot, but David Norris on YouTube, he had said, "Hey, what about like titles, registrations, shit like that? Like, how do you get? Because a lot of these old, especially if you're like piecing it together, like state by state, they have like a lot of fucked up laws, and it
Yeah.
varies from state to state. In New Hampshire, it's pretty much impossible not to register whatever vehicle you want. They don't do
Well,
VIN checks.
if it's less than like a 2000 something.
It's like a 2007 or something.
Yeah.
So as far as choppers go, like most people are looking at like early aughts back. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So like old vehicles, New Hampshire doesn't do titles. They won't issue one. Even if it has a title, they won't transfer it over to you.
Right.
So all you need is a bill of sale. And you handwrite those. I've done them on napkins. I've
Yeah.
done them on fucking backs of receipts and shit. Like it doesn't. Nobody's scrutinizing these
Yeah.
legal documents.
Yeah.
So in New Hampshire, it's really easy. Nobody's checking your VINs. For me personally, I go down to the town hall, and you can register at your local town hall. You just bring in the crumpled up piece of paper that says someone sold it to you.
And the old
There's no
registration though.
um yeah, the old
So you
registration
need an
or
old registration and a bill of sale.
yeah.
If you don't have an old registration, it's as easy as going to anywhere that does an inspection sticker or having the police come. They just run the VIN and verify it's not stolen,
You're
and
right
then you can
about
go
that.
register it.
I forgot I had to do that actually with the shovel head. I had to do a VIN check.
Yeah.
But they didn't come out. I just called the police department and they said, "What's the VIN?" And I gave them the VIN off the engine.
Yeah, well, you live in like Yellowstone.
Yeah. It's the Wild West out here. The Wild
Yeah.
West.
The police station's 5 minutes from my house, so they're like, "Yeah, we'll be right down, you fucking thief."
They're 5 minutes to my house too. But they're just like, I was like, "Yeah, I guess I need to do a VIN check or whatever." And it took like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have the registration bill of sale, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Um,
The only thing that sucks though is
Massachusetts
like
is
when you go to sell it, you're kind of fucked because you don't have a title.
yeah, well, limits where you can sell it, like because I know like Massachusetts, it's possible, but it's a pain in the
Well, that's the
ass.
good thing is like most of the states, like Massachusetts, California, I think almost all states actually, because it's coming from New Hampshire, which is a non-titled state, you could still put in for the title even though I don't have the title because it's coming from a non-titled state.
Oh, okay, that's good to
So as
know.
long as it's been registered in New Hampshire, a non-titled state, the stuff people get when you hear the Vermont thing, it's because Vermont is also a non-titled state. So say
Yeah,
if I register a bike here and it doesn't need a title, I have the registration, I have the bill of sale. Now, if I sell it to you and you live in Massachusetts, I give you my registration, I give you a bill of sale, and then you go to the town hall, or well, you have to go to the DMV in Massachusetts. You go to the DMV and say, "Hey, bought this in New Hampshire. It's a non-titled state." And Massachusetts is like, "Oh, okay," and they will pull the title from wherever the last place it was titled at.
okay, so that's good to know. The other thing is you mentioned the Vermont loophole is not a scam, and the reason people can use that, and I actually just watched an interview with a dude that like from the DMV or whatever in Vermont. The loophole is that you don't have to be a Vermont resident to
Yeah.
register a vehicle in Vermont. So you can
Yep.
just do it online and they'll send it to you wherever in the USA. So that's always like I've never personally done it, but
It used to be the same thing in Maine too.
it's like the thing to do. If you're really jammed up, Vermont's happy to take your money,
Yep.
give you a fucking Vermont license plate or whatever. So there's always
Yeah,
that.
guys
So yeah.
used to do it here all the time in New Hampshire when I was younger to their trucks. and they would
Yeah.
register them in Vermont because the New Hampshire cop can't pull you over for, say, if you have tinted windows, because you're going by Vermont laws, not New Hampshire, bitch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They can't pull you over for all that stupid shit because it's not their state.
Yeah. And the
Same thing with, like, people used to do the boating courses that way. You take your boating course online, by the way, in Vermont. Online. You
mm,
never even walk into a classroom. So you can
don't even
just
have to go.
have it in one window, the test, and then the answer's in the other one. Get a
Yeah.
perfect score, they send you your fucking captain's license. It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy, but I think they're stopping that soon too.
If you've had I've heard some nightmares like getting things registered, and I know a lot of states are like, it's just it's the state, it's the town, it's the county or whatever. Some of them are fucking real hard asses, and I'd love to hear some of your, some of your stories of getting fucked over, because I've heard some real horror stories, like people get their bike repossessed and shit like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm interested where to avoid living.
When
So
I
if you
when
have those stories,
I
let me know.
when I raffled off the shovel, the guy who won that was in California, and I sent it to him with no title. Sent him the registration, the bill of sale. He brought it down, and they do like what the fuck's that thing called? Like a green label or a blue label or some shit like that.
I don't know.
And that goes on the bike, and then they issue a title, and you're good to
Okay.
go. So I know you can do it in California. If you can do it in California, I'm pretty sure you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, I guess my advice here too is like, if you're in one of those states that requires like a VIN check or any of that bullshit, do it before you build the bike. Because I didn't even think about it until after I spent all this time. It was like the last thing I did was register the bike. And I was like, if this fucking thing comes back and it's like stolen or some shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
They're not just like, ooh, whoopsie. Like you spent all this time, it's yours now, like you don't have any rights at that point. They're gonna be like, oh, thanks for letting us know you have stolen property. We'll come pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
had
do
that fear
that
when I
like
did my
it's
shovel too, because I
yeah.
built the entire shovel before I fucking ever registered it.
I think there is like a website where you can check. Like you can check at least if it's stolen. I don't know how reputable they are, but I mean you can always call it in too. I mean, like before you purchase a bike, you know what I mean? Just be like, hey, what's the VIN? And call your
Yeah.
police department or some shit. But yeah, so thanks for the question there, Dave. That's again, if you're from a shithole that fucks around with people that want to build cool shit, let us know. Um, I'd like to know what the hardest state is. I hear Massachusetts can be a real pain in the ass,
Yeah. Mass DMV
but
sucks.
yeah. So, um, was there anything else that from last week that we wanted to add?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so. Okay. All right. So this week we're going to talk about the chassis. So basically the roller, right? So the frame, the front end, the wheels, sissy bar, handlebar, like everything that makes it a motorcycle. All the metal components, right, where you can roll it around and it looks kind of like a bike, right? Um, so frames, couple of different routes you can go here. You can buy a frame that's already hardtailed, or you could hardtail it yourself. There's not a third option where you keep the shocks on your bike. That is not an option. You have to either buy a hardtailed frame that's complete, or you can convert your soft tailed bike into a hardtail bike.
Yeah.
Uh, Full frames can be pretty expensive, or if you're like Danny, you can pick one up at a swap meet, mad fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And but you're looking at like for a hard-tailed frame, brand new from a supplier, over $1,000.
Yeah. You're looking at probably right around 1,100, 1,200 bucks.
Yeah, yeah, like $1,200. And if you're getting some weird, crazy shit, consider even more. The good thing about a frame from like lowbrow or Paco or something, they tend to have better lines because it was built with the lines in mind.
Mm.
Um, but again, it's a trade off. So you get probably better lines, but and you can do cooler shit, right? Because they're already like stretched, they're already up and out, and there's tons of choices out there, but you got to pay a pretty penny. I mean, 1,000 plus, but $1,200 is a lot of fucking dough for a frame. But
Yeah.
but here's the other thing to consider: if you are parting this thing together, right, and you just buy a frame, then you have to buy a hardtail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a hardtail kit, some of those are almost $1,000, like the V twin one, like the nice one with the cast axle plates. If you get one from Lowbrow, I don't even know what they're going for nowadays. 300-400 bucks, 500
Yeah,
bucks. I
something like
mean,
that. Around like
something
three
like
hundred
that.
bucks.
$300. Um, and if you don't know how to weld, welders are getting like 500, 600, 700 bucks. I've heard $700 to weld a hardtail on. That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So if you can't weld, I'd say you might as well just buy a frame or find one that's already
Yeah, find one at
hardtail.
a swap meet or something.
Yeah, and if you get one from a distributor or something that's already a hardtail frame, they often will already have like tank bungs, right? So I was actually looking. Lowbrow has one that I was looking at for my sporty. Already has the bungs for like a Frisco tank, or you can do sporty style, Sportster tank style mounting brackets, and they include all that stuff. So lots of things to consider. If you have a frame that you're converting into a hardtail and say that you can weld it together, you're going to be doing some serious cutting and grinding. I spent probably more time on the frame than any other part of the build
Oh yeah.
because first off, you have to cut it. So let's just, if you're buying a frame, that's easy because you're just going to be putting stuff on. You're not going to be probably taking things off, right? You're going to buy the frame you want, and that's easy. You're going to be paying through the nose. But if you're actually not that far off, right? Like if you buy a frame in a hardtail kit, you're in the $1,000 range. So let's say
Yep.
you bought your bike and you just have to buy the kit. That's $300 and you can weld it on. That's a no brainer, right? That's a pretty cheap way to get into a hardtail. Um, you like a shovel head, for instance, like when you strip that thing down, there's all types of shit that you have to cut off that thing because they're built with like the big tank mounts for the split tanks and shit like that. There's a lot of fucking metal you got to cut and grind off, and they have a lot of holes in them too that you got to weld up. Um, so you spend a long time just cutting, grinding, and removing powder coat, which is so fucking messy. Such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know what sandblasters get. I've heard people go as low as $50 to sandblast a frame. If that's true, I would definitely do that. I haven't been able to find someone to sandblast for $500, but removing the powder coat's a pain in the ass, and you have to take that off to be able to paint it. Because it's thick. That factory Harley powder coat is really thick. So
Mm.
you can't just, like places where you're down to bare metal, there's like a visible lip. Um, but anyways, you're going to spend a long time cutting and patching to start. And then you're going to have a frame that, let's say you get a sandblasted, or I actually got this thing from Harbor Freight. I forget what it's called, but it has like a roller on the front, like an abrasive roller, like a
Oh
drum
yeah.
roller. I think it might be called a drum sander or something. And it comes with, well, it comes with like rolls of sandpaper, but it also comes with these I don't know, it looks like ramen noodle. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like the abrasive stuff. And that actually worked really well to remove most of the powder coat because that roller kind of forms around the tubing. So you can kind of press down on it, it wraps around, then you just have to, it takes a long time. Yeah, I mean, and then all the little nooks and crannies and stuff you have to get in there. I ended up vapor honing mine, which when I had my larger cabinet, but it doesn't do a great job on powder coating. So, anyways, I ended up just grinding off as much as I could, and then doing the rest with the vapor honer. But I definitely say just sandblast that bitch, and then start cutting and grinding. And then once you get your, again, cut off pretty much all the tabs that, you have to kind of go around and be like, oh, well, you're not going to use any of their factory tabs, like the flimsy ones, right? You're going to want to replace those anyways. Things for like exhausts and stuff. So you cut off all that shit, cut off everything off the neck. And then you can, I think you windowed the neck of your shovel head, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10, how shitty was that?
It takes a long time.
It looked, I was going to do it. Did yours have that fucking lock in it too?
Yep.
You have to cut that out. It's in a weird place too.
Yeah. Yeah. And arguably, I could have had better tooling to do it. That would have made it a lot easier. But I used drill bits, a sawzall, that finger sander thing, the D, whatever the hell the fuck it's called. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The finger thing?
Yeah.
The Dynaphile?
Yeah, the Dynaphile, an electric Dynaphile. Use that, and then once I got it all like smoothed out and shit, skimmed it with Bondo just to like make it look seamless. It took a little bit. Now, arguably, if I had better tooling, if I had that small little fucking Sawzall pneumatic gun that I've told you about, it has like a little 3-inch fucking or 2-inch fucking Sawzall blade on it.
Oh yeah, that would be sick.
It would have been so much faster.
Because then you can basically just drill in the top corners, in all the corners,
Right.
and then stick that thing in.
Yep. And then maybe some burr bits to like really knock that metal down faster than using a Dynaphile, and then using a Dynaphile to finish it would have probably made it a lot faster. But it's still pretty tedious. It's a small fucking space, and it's on the back side of your neck. So like you can't fuck around and fuck it up, because then if you blast through the backside of that neck, you're fucked.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it takes some time. But to me, it looks great. So it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you actually, the EasyCo, they did a really great video on how to window a neck. So go check that out. Theirs was really shitty too. I think they had like tons of Bondo and all sorts of like horrible shit in there. But anyways, yeah. So moving on, we got, you either have a shiny new hardtailed frame from your favorite Low Life Chopper podcast sponsor, or you spend a bunch of time and money getting a hardtail kit. Now, I guess we could probably talk about the different kits that are out there that I've personally used. I wish that when I did mine, I would have gotten one of the, there's basically 2 different types of kits. They have like the premium kits, and then you have your cheaper kits, right? And it all has to do with the axle plates, basically. The more expensive kits, they have the cast axle plates. And I think they look a lot better. I wish I would have went that route, spent a little bit extra money. They just look, you get that like panhead type of look to the frame, you know what I mean? Like old school. Just looks so great. So, but if you only have $300-400 for a hardtail kit, I think there's a couple of different, they only come in a, like, if you get a kit, it's either going to be a hoop one or it's going to be straight. And they're all pretty much the same to put on. You know, unless you get like, you know, the premium ones, like the V twin one has like the whole backbone. They have the axle blades and shit. So you cut off basically at the backbone, stick that shit on.
Mm.
Um, but these other ones, you're basically, you just cut, uh, you know, they have instructions, most of them. And the other thing is, if it's your first time doing it,
And
like
some of them are
definitely,
better than others.
oh
Anyone that leaves, especially on like Sportsters, because Sportsters have like, it's like a hoop in the front. So it's like one big fucking hoop. Any hardtail that leaves that hoop bumped up and comes down like this, you're not going to like it. It's a pain in the fucking dick when you go to do your seat and all that shit. What you want is a hardtail that's going to leave you one solid line from your neck all the way to your axle plates. By doing
yeah,
it that way, it makes it so you're mounting your seat, easy fucking peasy. Mount your fender, easy peasy. And it gives you that nice, just downhill fucking line that everybody wants.
hmm
So do your research. Some
yeah,
hardtail kits are better than others. 100%. I've lucked out, and all the hardtail kits I've bought so far have just been fucking great and super easy to do. Um, so just do your
yeah.
research.
Yours was
Ask
really,
around.
really easy. The
Yeah.
Road
It's
Sex
easier
Custom.
with like the shovels because you line it up with the transplate. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like once that transplate's bolted on and the hardtail is mounted into the tubes of the original frame,
yeah,
it can't be wrong.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it can't be. And it's the same with the Sportster, the kit that I got from David Bird, which unfortunately doesn't make hardtails anymore. Um, Same thing. It had the transplate that would mount up to the transplate on the Sportster. You put your 4 bolts in and just weld. It's literally a jig built into the hardtail.
yeah,
So if I was going to give you any advice, if you're going to go the hardtail route, do your research. Ask around on Instagram or Chop Cold or fucking Facebook and find somebody that's used the hardtail kit you're looking at and ask them how the install went. How did the mock-up of the shit that comes after the install work out?
yeah,
Just do your research because there's nothing worse than getting a hardtail kit that makes the rest of the process fucking harder.
yeah. I mean, one thing is like that I'll just mention because I had a hard time with this was the axle adjusters. They didn't come on
Mm.
my hardtail. You don't think about that shit until
It's
you
such a
get
weird thing too.
to put the fucking wheel on, and then you're like, I kind of need those, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly an easy thing to weld on necessarily. You know, it's just not something you want to. You already bought the whole fucking thing. You don't want to have to make bungs for it and do all that shit and line it up. And mine are not perfectly straight, you
Right.
know, though I tried. But things like that. I mean, if you're in the $400 camp for hardtail kits, they're all about the same. Like from the ones I've seen, they typically have the axle adjusters, you know, on there. Uh, and they're relatively easy to, just like you said. I mean, you don't really need a frame jig. Uh, that definitely does help. We didn't really, we used it to get it lined up initially on yours, on the shovel head.
I think we could have done it without it.
100%. Yeah.
I can recommend fully the Rogue 6 hardtail for a shovel is very nice.
Yeah. That was the first hardtail I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
that
we banged it
complicated
out
to
in
figure it
2
out.
hours, start to finish, 2
And there was no
hours.
instructions either.
And that's with filming, by the way. Filming a
Yeah.
whole fucking YouTube episode. 3 guys that have never hardtail before in their lives did it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 hours. Sorry, not 3 hours. 2 hours.
With no instructions. There's no instruction booklet.
Yeah.
And actually, this is famously, you know, the company that if you reach out to them and ask them any questions about the install, they'll just reply with, I think it's pretty self-evident or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to offer you any help on it, but you don't really need any. It is pretty
No.
intuitive.
Yeah.
Like once you put that thing next to your
I mean,
fucking thing,
it only goes one
here.
way.
It only goes
You know
one
what I
way.
mean? You plug in the bottom of the frame, plug in the top of the frame, and then adjust according to the transplate.
Yeah.
Done.
If you do it wrong, these things won't line up. It won't
Yeah.
fit. So,
Yeah.
and it's pretty hard to fuck
self-explanatory.
it up. It's pretty hard to fuck it up. And once you do one, it's like, again, if you're going to be welding it, I would definitely
And
suggest.
this was TIG welding, by the way, which takes longer
Yeah,
than MIG.
true.
You know what I mean?
We could have
Still
done
2
it.
hours with TIG.
We could have done it in a half an hour if I had a MIG.
Yeah.
But it's good to have the TIG. I'd say TIG is preferable because there's, especially with like that kit, you have the slugs and stuff. You want to get good penetration, high heat, but not a ton of prep. I mean, we didn't barely bevel the fucking thing, but just throw enough weld in there to make it happen. I would definitely suggest if you're welding it yourself for the first time, just go slow. Make sure you don't cut off too much. You can always grind
do
back
half
more.
of the pipe at a time.
Yeah, like we were kind of eyeballing it. We definitely didn't have, there was no measuring implements anywhere. We were just kind of like cut here and here. And then we had to take it off and grind a little bit, take it off and grind a bit. So just wherever you think it's going to be, just cut a little bit closer and then you can just grind it off. Yeah. And just go slow and be a semi-capable welder. I would say that I'm not like the worst welder, but I can.
Lojo actually gave you props on your TIG welding. When he seen the frame, he was like, "Dang, Rhino did these."
Okay.
So he gave you props, bro. He said the welds looked really good.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
He's a professional welder, dude. He was literally a welder before he became a mechanic.
Fucking A, dude. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. Wow. So, yeah, I guess I'm the best TIG welder in New Hampshire.
You're a certified welder now.
Yeah. We're going to go, maybe I'll change careers.
Yeah.
So, hey, there you go. I think I'm a piece of shit welder, but professional welders think I'm okay. So, you just, it's hard to screw up. But definitely don't even ask me if you can flux core it. And I guess you could probably
if you write in and ask us if you can flux core, I'm blocking you.
Just if you're
this
is
your life.
Score,
this is your life.
if you're seriously thinking about doing a flux core weld on your chopper hardtail, just let me know and I'll weld it for you.
Stick weld it before you fucking flux core it. All right, a stick welder's cheap. A stick welder's cheap at Harbor Freight, bud.
Yeah, just put like exhaust clamps on it before if you're gonna instead.
And not for nothing, man. Listen, let's be fucking real. You can get a TIG machine now, fucking cheap. They're not expensive like they were fucking 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like you can get a pretty halfway decent setup for $500. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like there's really no excuse.
Even cheaper. Yeah.
There's no excuse. For all you guys listening to the show, that's longtime listeners, you know I've been Mr. MIG for a long motherfucking time. But your boy is going to be buying the same TIG Rhino runs for this for this shovel build. That way, because Rhino's my IT guy. I got the same pellet stove as Rhino. Just in case I run into some shit. I'm going to be running the same TIG machine in case I run into some shit. But yeah, I'm getting
basically
the
same motorcycle too.
Yeah, we're both got the shovels. But I'm getting a TIG machine just because I want to be able to do like a little bit more finesse work. And like aluminum, I don't know if I'll ever weld aluminum. So that's not really that doesn't play any part whatsoever for me. To me, it's just less splatter, less spark. It's cleaner and fuck it, why not? You know what I mean?
You're gonna want
I'm still keeping the MIG. The MIG ain't going nowhere.
You're basically going to be welding in a matchbox in that garage there too. You don't want MIG.
Yeah, I mean these floors though, it's 3/4 inch plywood. It would take a lot for that shit to ignite up. But still, it's just TIG is a lot fucking cleaner when you're welding, and like I said, I want to do more finesse shit that would be a lot easier with a TIG machine. So I'm gonna get one for this
stainless.
Yeah, in stainless. It'll be nice to do
I fully support this decision. And I've heard good things even about the Harbor Freight one. I forget who I was talking to, but they're like, dude, this thing fucking rips.
I heard that too. Maybe were they on an episode?
I think so.
I thought somebody said, yeah, I got the Harbor Freight one, upgraded the pedal and the torch, and I was fucking cooking.
Yeah. And for your average,
see, you can tell I'm a TIG guy because I call them torches now. I don't call him a wand anymore. I'm officially a TIG guy.
I almost didn't pick up on that. You got me calling it a wand.
Yeah, I mean
Like
that's
in
just
my
what it
head.
feels like. I feel like
I
you're
was
about to cast
actually
a spell with that shit.
yeah, I was just welding today and I was just like, oh no, I dropped my wand.
Yeah. You know, the cool thing too that's like intriguing about TIG is because I would always make the argument like it's nice to have MIG because one hand you can just zap a part on real quick. And that's really just my ignorance of TIG is I didn't know you could just be like, yeah, just fusion weld this. Now
Yeah.
it's on. You know what I mean? And then pull out your fucking filler and start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I look forward to it. It's going to be fun. But what I'm saying here, the whole moral of this is not to make this episode about me, is if Mr. Mig is going to make the jump to TIG, who's also Mr. Mig is a very cheap fucking prick. Any of you motherfuckers can do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at here. But listen, to be honest though, you can fully weld your hardtail with a MIG machine, but it's got to be a gas MIG. Don't fucking come at us with this flux core bullshit. But the stepchild was welded with a MIG machine 5 years ago, and I ride that bitch hard as fuck. I've hit jumps with that bike,
Yeah.
and it's still rolling.
Well, it's just a waste of money. I mean, I had a flux core welder, and then my dad got a job. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So use something decent. Like I said, if the back of your bike falls off while you're riding it, you're gonna be
That's
a
not
hurt
ideal.
unit, dude.
It's not an ideal situation.
So fuck flux core, MIG or TIG, and I highly recommend doing it yourself. And this has been like a major theme throughout all of our episodes lately. Is just you can definitely do it. I know that. I have confidence in you. So make that jump. You know what I mean? And if you need help, if you're you know, if you especially if it's something that I've done before, like a Sportster or a Shovelhead, I can definitely help you with that. You know,
Yeah.
if you have some weird V Star shit that you're hardtailing, I probably won't be able to help you. Or if you're
Yeah.
building your
It's just
own,
all about doing your research, taking your time, and just figuring it out.
yeah,
Because guess what? Everybody that welds on hardtails right now, at some point they didn't know how to do it. And guess how they got into it? They just fucking did it.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah. It's best if you can do it on someone else's bike, so your own life's not at risk. So
Yeah.
I did it on Loctites. I'm very confident about it.
Yep.
But yeah, so now you have a hardtailed frame, and you cut all the shit off of it that you're not going to use. I would say the next step before you can do any of the fabrication is you have to get your wheels on.
But you got to figure out your front end.
Yeah, you need that to attach the wheel to it.
You can do the rear wheel though.
Yeah. So all right, well, we'll do let's do front end because that incorporates the wheel, and then it segues smoothly into the wheel discussion. But so front end, most popular front ends are going to be like, all right, so we're talking Sportsters and shovel heads, or panheads or whatever. But if you're working on a panhead, you don't need my advice. You're probably not listening to this series. But if shovelhead or Sportster, you can go with the hydraulic one that came on it, or you could do a Springer.
I'd say most popular is either 39 millimeter because they're a little bit smaller.
Well, not too small.
Or a Springer. I'd say that's probably the most popular. Some people like the 41s, dual disc.
Tough guy shit.
Yeah, like the tough guy shit. But I'd say most popular for like if you're going for like that. I don't even know how to explain it. If you're building a bike like I build, You're going 39 millimeter shaved lowers, skinny trees if possible. If you're going for a bike like Rhino builds, you're going for either a 6 or 4 over Springer. You're a big Springer guy.
I'm a Springer guy now. Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I put them on both my bikes and I love them. But I actually, on the shovel head, I'm a 4 under.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, 4 under.
Yeah. On the
That's right.
Sportster now, I'm a 2 under. But I started with an 8 over, 6 over, 4 over, 2 over, stock.
You got the
2 under.
narrow Springer on the Sporty, though, right?
No, it has a caliper.
Oh,
I'm running a
shit.
front brake.
How did I not realize that?
Yeah.
So it's like
I
a
had
regular, like, wide glide Springer.
Yeah. It's the, I got that at a swap meet, so I'm not sure what the brand was. But it looks
can't
like
be a wide glide, though. It's a narrow Springer, isn't it?
well, they have so they have the narrow springers that won't allow you to fit a brake caliper and a rotor in
Right. But I mean, I'm
And
saying
then
like a narrow glide.
it's yeah, so it's
You
kind
know
of
what I
like
mean?
with springers.
Not like,
I
yeah, I'm
think
not
they
saying
call it
like the
mid.
Mullins. Yeah, I'm not saying like the Mullins of Springers. I'm saying like
Yeah,
the narrow glide of Springers.
yeah,
Like just
yes,
one caliper.
exactly. So there's like 3 different configurations. They have the narrow ones, no brake. Then you have a mid, which you can have a brake, and then they have the wide ones,
Yeah.
super wide ones.
Like the
Um,
what's that Springer brand, the one that everybody was getting for a long time? The Moto
DNA.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
Moto
yeah.
Iron.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
Yeah,
wide Springer, right?
I have that on my shovel head.
That's wide though, isn't it? Isn't it like the same
Um,
width as a wide glide?
it's I
It
want to say
looks
it's
wide as
8
fuck.
inches. I think it's 8 inches on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I think my front end is like maybe 3 inches
Yeah, that's fucking super tiny.
on the Mullins. Like it's maybe 3 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the skinny tire on there. That's the thing is like, right? What do you I like a little bit bigger tires.
On the
And
front too.
yeah, I have the Baja on the front of the shovel. On the Sportster I have a thinner one, but it's has a high wall on it. But I like the short springers with the 21 wheel, and it takes up like all that space.
Yeah, yeah, it looks good.
It looks like kind of like that classic look, like
Yeah.
the old school Springer look. But yeah, I've run. I had a lead sled Springer. I think it was a 6 or 8 over on the Sportster for a long time. They're all basically made the same, but they have ones that look. I mean, as far as Springers go, you have like Moto Iron, and they're like in the $500 range, right? Brand new. Then you have your Springers that are like the classic look. They're more rounded, Those are like $1,000. And then you have swap meet Springers, which that's just question marks how much you're gonna fucking spend
So
at the machine
sketchy.
shop. Dude,
Listen, if you buy a fucking Springer at a swap meet and throw it right on your bike, you're asking for a bad time.
you're a fucking psychopath, dude.
You're asking for a bad time, dude. Go
Yeah,
through
like,
that goddamn thing.
You definitely should go through it. And I've seen them out there, man. Like for me personally, it's just like we were talking earlier about, hey, your back end falls off, you're in big trouble. If your front end fucking falls off,
You're
you are
fucked.
fucked. You are
You're
pink
fucked.
mist, dude.
You're mashed potatoes, dude.
Yeah. Say goodbye to control and steering and shit. And now not only are you're just like, now you're in front of your bike that's going down. You know what I mean? So that shit's scary to me, but definitely take the time to rebuild it and restore those old Springers because
And
they
learn
deserve
about
that
it. Because
love.
like you gotta tune those things. Like I don't know if these motherfuckers know. A Springer is not just like it's not a hydraulic front end where you just throw it on. Like these things have to be tuned.
Yeah. And you should know how it fucking works. And by the way, it's not that complicated. We're talking bushings and shit,
Yeah, bushings and springs and torque specs, bud.
Yeah. But you want to definitely check it for cracks. you definitely want to check it for like any of that shit, like structural stuff,
Any kind
because
of rust or anything like
yeah,
that.
rusty areas and shit like that.
And it
But bare
happens.
minimum,
If you don't think it happens, go over to EasyCo and check out when they were in Daytona.
yeah, that was
Right? It
fucking.
was Daytona they were at?
I
I
think
think
it
it
was
was
Daytona, and it
Daytona.
was an epic
And
failure of the front
yeah,
end.
and the Springer just
Catastrophic.
folded in half while John was riding it.
Yeah,
Folded in
it's
half.
fucked.
Thankfully, he was at the campground still,
Yeah,
but
not on the
folded
highway.
in half, dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Springers
So
are sketchy to me. I don't know if I could ever run a Springer.
yeah, I mean, I definitely like the brand new ones. People on the people talk a lot of trash about like those old DNAs and stuff like that, and I don't know because I never ran one, but like moto iron solid, lead sled solid, like they run fine.
Bone Orchard, the sickest.
Yeah, if you want, I mean, he was at the swap too.
Yeah,
His are sick as fuck. I think
so
he was just
fucking
I
nice,
think he
dude.
just did a giveaway on one of those today.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, and he's a custom Springer builder, so I guess that's your other option is if you're going
His are
Springer, you get one.
so fucking nice, man.
Yeah, or try to win one in a raffle. They're expensive, but you can get it made to order. It depends on what kind of bike you're going to be running. For me, it's like $500. I can probably I can splurge on that, and then that's my front end. Because if you buy a front end, unless you're you and you pick up 39 millimeter front ends for pocket change, people are selling them. They're
Oh,
around
they're
300-400
getting
bucks.
so expensive. They're getting
Yeah,
so expensive. And
especially
if you think
especially
about it
those
too, like
39
if you
millimeters.
look, so like 39 millimeters used to be a dime a dozen, dude. Everybody was ripping them off and putting springers on their bikes,
Yeah,
and you could get them all day for $100. Now people are selling the sliders for $100. You know what I mean? So if you're going to buy a
yikes.
whole full 39 millimeter front end, expect to pay $300 to $400 sometimes. And then
Yeah,
if you're gonna do a 6 over, that's another. What are your fucking 6 over tubes now? I think they're like 100 and something bucks.
they're like $200.
Yeah, $200. So now
Dude,
you're say you
someone
got in the
sent me
low end,
one
you're up to
that were
$500.
$700, dude. $700.
Yeah,
Someone sent me. I
yeah.
said,
And then so say in the low end, you got the front end $300, and then $200 for the 6 over. So now you're at what are we at $500? Now you decide, am I going to run these trees? Am I going to run the Mullins trees? If you like, I want super narrow front end. Now add another $500 to that. Now you're at $1,000. Oh, you
yep.
don't want to run a front brake and you want those lowers to be shaved? Now you got to pay somebody with a fucking lathe to shave that down. You know what I mean? So you, depending on how crazy you want to go with the 39, you could be over $1,000.
True. And you should
But
absolutely rebuild it.
but this is why I say talk to people. You know what I mean? Don't just go buying shit all willy nilly. Talk to the fucking people in your community. Somebody's got just the lowers they want to sell. So now you're buying just the lowers for $100. You're buying 6 over 2s for $200, and then paying someone to fucking spin them on a lathe real quick. You know what I mean? Now you're under
Hey,
$500 for a whole front end.
barter system too. Like if you bought your shovel that has a wide glide on it or whatever, trade. Put it up on Facebook. Like I'll trade for a Sportster front end or something. Because those, it's not a chopper thing necessarily, but those wide glides, people like them.
They fetch
People
good
want 'em.
money.
Yeah, you get
All
good
the
money.
ones I've gotten, I've sold for over 400.
Yeah, so you can sell them for cash, or you can even just put it out there for trade. Put it on fucking Instagram. Like there's tons of dudes that are just like
The best thing to do though is if you're not going to run just a stock 39 millimeter front end, but you want 39, is to source out the trees. Whether you're going to go Mullins, you're going to go stock. Buy just the trees. You'll get them cheap, especially at a swap meet.
true.
Somebody's got a set of trees, man. You be like, yeah, I'll give you fucking $60,
Yeah,
and then find a set of lowers.
yeah, and
The only reason I say it's easier to buy at least the full fucking tubes and sliders, really it's easy to buy the whole front end if you're not going to buy Mullins trees, because then you have the trees, you have the lowers, and then you have all the guts inside. It would suck to have to source out. I mean, I guess you could buy all the guts new, but it's like if you can just buy a whole fucking front end. And like Rhino said, this is the other good thing. This is why it's important to develop a side hustle when you build choppers, because now you have a bargaining tool. right? So Rhino is a vapor honer. He could be like, hey man, I'm looking for a 39 millimeter. I'll vapor hone your whole fucking motor for that 39 millimeter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'm like, hey, I'll pinstripe whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Let me get that front end. And so the barter system is key in the chopper community. And if it's not, you're not with the right fucking people. Because I can tell you almost all of my homies that I ride with and that like I've helped with their builds and they've helped with my builds. If I need something and they got it, I'll get it. Whether I have the money right now or I pay them once I get the fucking money or I got some parts they want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it should be. That's how chopper building should be. Get
I
with
just,
dudes that are down to barter with you.
you know, this is something that like I always loved about this community because it's like it harkens back to like I remember like granddads and shit. They weren't all they weren't all about like this is worth this much and I need this much amount of money. You know, like if their buddy needed something, they'd give it to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how this is. Like I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh, like I need lowers or something. And then like Fish is just like, I got you. And he just like, nothing in return, you know, like there's no expectation of repayment. Like people just hook each other up
Yeah.
and it's just
That's the
like, oh
beauty
no,
of
get me
it.
back late. Yeah. Just get me back later or whatever. You know
If
what I
I
mean? Like,
have something in my shop and I have zero fucking use for it, like I have no plans for it,
yeah.
and somebody hits me up, and I'm not gonna do it for just some random motherfucker, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like if it's somebody that I fuck with and like, hey, I need some sliders for my fucking front end, and I got a pair, here you go, bud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know at some point he is gonna have something that I need.
Yeah.
So it's just like you watch my back, I watch your back, and it's like an
Yeah.
unsaid thing. Like what you're saying is like there's never discussion about it. There's nothing. It's just like if you're with the right group of dudes, you should be able to get whatever you need.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the last shovel I had the exhaust flange bolts to bolt into the cylinders were fucked up. They were stripped right the fuck out. Somebody already put Healy coils in them. Those were stripped out. And I was talking to Repetto about it. He's like, come up on a weekend. I'll fucking help you TIG weld it, blah, 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 blah. Ended up being worse than we thought it was. We had to grind the ears completely down. And then Repetto had to build it back up with fucking TIG. And then drill and fucking tap new holes. And Repetto's like, you'll have something I need at some point. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't have fucking hid money in his fucking van because he would have got it and thrown it back in my fucking face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's just like how this community is. When you, and this is like, we talked about this before. I don't want to get too far off this build series, but we've talked about this before is like your character and who you are cannot be hidden.
Yeah.
When you fuck with real motherfuckers, they will see through your bullshit or they'll see that you're a real one. And when that's distinguished, that's when you fall into where you fucking belong in the community. You know what I mean? Either people are going to fuck with you and they're going to help you out when you need it because they know that you're going to return the favor, no questions asked, or they're just not going to fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about the chopper community. You don't even got to talk every day. You don't got to fuck with these dudes like on a regular basis. Like me and Rhino, we talk all the time. Rhino knows anything that's in my garage, even if I have plans for it, if he needs it before I need it, he can take it.
I want that
Like the front end, the wheels, this front fucking wheel that I have right here, 21-inch chrome spoolie with a fucking Schenko wheel on it, with the tube and the fucking band that goes in it. I had sitting right over here underneath this bench, brand new, all in the boxes. Dan needed a fucking wheel for his build. I was like, yep, come get it. I haven't even fucking opened it. It's brand new in the fucking box. Dan came, grabbed the wheel, finished his fucking front end, and just ordered another one and had it shipped to my house.
No.
You know what I mean? That's how it is. Like, that's how this community is. And that's why, like, we always preach, like, just don't be a fucking shitbag, dude. Like, want everybody to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When your homies win, you fucking win. But anyways, I don't want to get too far off this fucking subject. But the whole like moral of this is like, you don't need everything. You know what I mean? The build journey will fucking provide. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those I think it fits right in because I mean this is Choppin 101, dude, and that's name another culture where that's present. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can't think of any other aspect of my life where people are just like so giving and loving and understanding. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, car guys are kind of the same way, but I
yeah,
feel like car guys and chopper guys are like one and the same.
yeah, it's in the
Definitely,
same
definitely
culture. Yeah,
different crowds of people.
yeah,
But it's the same culture. It's like people respect the labor of love. You know what I
yes,
mean? So like when they see you putting everything into these builds and see you putting in the hours and like really fucking loving what you're doing,
they want you to
that's
succeed.
like what we're saying before. It's like they want you to succeed. And if they
Yeah,
don't, if they get jealous or they talk shit about like, oh, fucking must be nice to do this and that. Those aren't the dudes you want to fuck with, man. Talk to them when you see them at shows, but don't surround yourself with people like that because you will never be great. You'll never push yourself because you're just surrounded by people who don't want you to win.
yep, yeah, and that's. I mean, the other thing is like I don't know a lot of rich people in this community, and friends will help you get by. They're going to be there to help you with your broke ass bike. They're going to have knowledge or parts or something to help you out with. You know, even if it's just
Yeah.
like let's hang out and fuck around in the garage, drink beers, and just the confidence that like when I was doing that hardtail, like the biggest thing for me to get through that was having my two friends looking over my shoulder and be like, "Yep, that's not going anywhere," and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. So go and get that, be a part of the community, and then you don't need all the money in the world. Then you don't,
Yeah.
then you have, exponential experience too. But so front ends, I'm gonna say one thing. The Sportster 39 millimeter front end, that's a perfectly good just stock platform for a chopper. Like
Yeah.
there's two variations of it that I've seen. They have the ones that the top tree is aluminum and the bottom tree is steel.
I think
Uh,
that's older models though.
yeah, the older models. The newer models, they're both aluminum,
Yeah.
and that's the one that you want if you had a choice. Like if you're out there looking,
Yeah, I
you want
think
to get
that's
the one that has.
Ironhead that does that, isn't that? It's steel bottom,
I
aluminum
don't I
top.
don't know exactly which one because I want to say Dan Sportster. I did his for the Gypsy Witch. I vapor honed. I might be wrong about that, but someone, I think it was Dan's. It was his lower tree was steel. I
Hmm.
don't know why they did that, but it sucks because you want to be able to. Aluminum is really easy to shape. So if you're going to be taking your front end, if you're going to be shaving all the tabs off the trees and shit, like for the headlight and all that shit, you want them both to match, and you
Yeah.
want them to be aluminum. So anyway, that's just a note on that. But I did that on my Sportster, and you shave them down, and aluminum's really easy to shape and really easy to cut, and it looks awesome. You know, and I'd say too that you don't even need for the lowers too. You can do that by hand. You don't need a lathe. I mean, yours looks sick because you got all the little fucking ripples and shit in it,
The
and
ones on
you
the
can get
step
really
shot I did by
fancy.
hand with a grinder.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it because aluminum's just super easy. There's no sparks either, like with aluminum. Like you're cutting that
Yeah.
shit off, there's aluminum dust. Cut off the tabs, do the best you can with the grinder, and take your time. It'll look just fine. So you don't need a whole lot. You don't need access to a lathe and getting them turned and all that. But if you want it to look like super nice, yeah, go ahead and get that. Especially if you want to put ribs in it and shit. Send them out to Wannabe Fabrication or whatever. Or
Mm.
Josh. Who did yours?
On this shovel,
Yeah,
um, Steel City.
Steel City Blacksmith. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So front ends, those are your options, right? You're either doing a chunky boy, you're gonna do 35. I who was it? Oh, Derek Savage. I saw his. He is wicked on his purple bike there. They're like a 31 millimeter or something. They're tiny, dude. It looks pretty cool though.
Fuck.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, typically you're gonna get it's either one or the other. And then how much of those mullen trees are pretty pricey. But
Yeah,
there's some
like
knockoffs.
460 or something.
Yeah. but they're super fucking nice. So if you're doing,
So nice.
yeah, if you want to do like a really nice bike, get the Mullins trees. Dan,
But
I think, got some.
Dan has I forget who makes the ones Dan has, but his are like already polished and everything, dude. His are fucking nice.
Was his from like another company, or was I thought
Yeah,
his were like
different
some
company. They're
Amazon
not.
shit?
No, it's from a different company. It's like an Italian company, I think he said.
I don't know shit.
Yeah. The only difference is his doesn't come with the neck stem, I don't think.
Oh, that's right.
I can't remember. But his trees are fucking nice, dude. They're fucking nice.
Yeah, I'll text them and get, maybe we can put that in the show notes, because that's a good alternative, because they were like half the price,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically you have to decide a few things: if you're going Springer or hydraulic, and if you're going to be running a front brake or not. I'm a front brake guy myself. Loctite's not. And there's nothing wrong with running a front brake. It doesn't make you any
No,
less of a man,
not at all.
right? So,
I just like the I like it just being like super clean up front.
mhm.
And I like the handlebars just looking super clean. That's the only reason I don't run a front brake. It's not like a cool kid thing. It's just like I like that it just looks very simple and very clean up front.
Yeah.
Because believe me, it would be nice to have a front brake. Like when I got to stop on a hill, it fucking sucks. It's not ideal. You know what I mean? You can't do burnouts unless you fucking jam your chopper into a wall. You can't do anything fucking cool.
The one thing I did on the shovel head was I did the remote master cylinder, which
Yeah.
cleaned it up
Dude, that
quite a
front
bit.
brake you did was sick.
Yeah, because then it's kind of a middle ground. I still have the front brakes of the wheel. I still have the big old chunky caliper on it. But on the bars, I was able to use, they're super cheap, right? Because if you get a master cylinder and, like if you buy them as a set, dude, they're like $400 brand new.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
want to get like the nice ones, like the Craft Tech ones and shit with the tiny master cylinder on the bars, um, super fucking expensive. But I
yeah,
got two clutch levers, and it was I think I got them at either Lowbrow or Deadbeat Customs. I think I got two of them. It was like $40, and then you're able to run a cable from both. So a cable is a hell of a lot smaller than like a big brake line coming off with a
yeah,
banjo
yeah.
bolt and all that shit. And it's kind of tricked out. I mean, I had to do some, uh,
There was
I had to
definitely
do
some
some
engineering
fabrication.
done in
Yeah,
that.
there's definitely some engineering, but altogether, it's very cheap to do it that way. Basically, you buy uh, like just a master cylinder from, I forget which one I used. I think it's off like a KZ or something. But I'll throw some pictures up of what I built. Fab Kevin sells one, but there's basically a plunger, and the cable just pushes that plunger in. So when you squeeze the cable, there's like a little arm, and it just pushes the plunger in, and then you
Yeah,
have the master cylinder. I have it mounted on the Springer, so I welded an additional bung on there, and you can get them on eBay. Those uh, the actual reservoir and stuff. Uh, Dude, $10 I think I paid for it. Like they're
yeah,
off
yeah.
old jet bikes. There's a billion of
You
them.
know what I thought about before? Um, on that shovel that I built, I was thinking in the beginning to run a front brake, and then instead of bringing it up onto the handlebars, bring it down to like where the rear brake goes, and just putting another lever so you have your rear brake here and your front brake here. So say you
Oh, that's
stop on a
pretty
hill,
cool.
you can heel brake with your front.
That's
You know what I
actually
mean?
a
To just
really cool
hold you on the
idea.
hill. And I
Yeah.
don't know why I never did it, but that's why I had that Brembro setup that I showed you at the
Yeah.
swap meet.
Yeah.
That's why I got that, because I was going to try to do like almost like a rocker style brake. So press down with your toes,
Dude,
it's your rear brake. Press down with your heel, that'd be your front
that's a
brake.
really cool idea, actually. Because
Yeah, it'll clean it up.
the only reason I have the front brake is hills. I got a shit ton of hills around me.
Right. Yeah.
And it barely works, by the way. Like I can't use it for braking. It barely works because I hate bleeding brakes, and I probably didn't do it right, but it works enough to stop you on if you're at a stop on a hill just to keep your place. That's a really good idea though, because then you can just rock it. I mean, you could even have it. There's so many different ways to do that. I haven't seen that actually, so
Yeah.
that would be cool to do. But
Yep.
yeah, I'll throw some pictures up about the remote master. But there's a ton of threads on Chop Colt and stuff. Super easy to do. You can hide that master cylinder under your tank, in between your, really wherever. Mine, I put it right on the springer because I hadn't seen that. I thought that was kind of cool. But then you have front brake. But if you, it definitely does look cleaner with nothing,
Yeah.
And I would love to. I think I might be going jockey shift this year
Really?
on the shovel. Yeah, I think I might try it out because it does just clean up the bars quite a bit.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of shit going on up there. Yeah. So what else is there about front ends? Are we ready to move on to the wheels?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, the front end is just deciding whether you want hydraulic or springer.
Yeah.
And then which hydraulic front you want to use, which spring you want to use. Are you doing brakes? Are you not doing brakes? And then once you figure those two things out, now you can figure out what kind of wheel to run. Because that depends on what front end you choose. If you have brakes, if you don't have brakes.
Yeah. And actually, I'm remembering now, like with the remote master cylinder, someone actually hit me up about that a while ago. They wanted me to do a whole thing. I might do a YouTube video on it or something. But if you're thinking about doing it, and I'll run you through it. Hit me up on Instagram, and I can show you exactly what I did, because I basically copied Fab Kevin. But all right, so onto the wheels. Choppers, typically you're going to do a 16 or an 18 in the rear, 21 in the front. Some people do 19 in the front, or like crazy little ones. But for the most part, like if you're buying a bike, it's already going to come with like a 16 rear and a 21 front on like a Sportster. Rims are expensive. Tires are wicked expensive.
I think rims aren't that expensive though. Like
Rims aren't that
$200
expensive for a brand new one.
Yeah.
And then you put a tire on it, you're talking $400.
Oh yeah. Doing rim and tires, yeah, you're looking at probably 350, 400.
And then you need two of them, so that's $800. So it's best to use what you got, right?
Yeah.
So a couple things you got. Most of them are going to come. You're either going to have a mag or a spoked wheel or a solid. My shovel head, I had like a Fat Boy front and rear, which is gross. Yeah, I don't mind the rear solid. I think that's a good choice. Spoke up front. If you got Invader money, or actually there was a bunch of Invaders at the swap meet.
Dude, there were so many at the swap meet.
And people were buying them up too.
They were very Invaders on this. I've been wanting to do Invaders on the Stepchild for so long. Dude,
Invaders are probably
maybe the Stepchild 2.0, the rebuild of Stepchild, will have Invaders.
You do both Invaders, front and rear?
Yeah, dude. But I want to just save. I think the Stepchild 2.0 is going to have to be done after the shovel, because I want to get this shovel done.
Yeah.
But I think that I'll probably just Stepchild 2.0 and then just put money away every week and then just buy brand new Invaders. That way I don't have to worry about any like the cracks or fucking any of that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's they get pretty pricey. But
they're stupid expensive.
Yeah. Nothing looks better than an Invader front wheel though, in my opinion.
It looks so fucking good.
Even if you don't have one in the rear, you can just do one up front and it changes the bike.
Yeah. For brand new Invaders, you're looking at like $1,700.
Yeah. Yeah.
To do like a 21 front Invader and then a 16 rear.
Yeah.
But
Josh will twist you up some though. A twisted Invader,
yeah,
dude.
I think you can get Invaders from him for like $1,200 or $1,300 or something like that.
Yeah, I'll twist it up.
Yeah, and they'll be twisted.
Those look fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's one of those raffles that he did, like the Invader raffle. I was like so bummed at it. I was just
Yeah.
like, I was praying and shit. I was like, dear God, if
Yes.
there is a God,
Yeah.
I want these fucking Invaders.
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing with that frame from Speed Hulk, Speed Trap custom, Speed
Hmm.
Trap Choppers.
Yeah.
That fucking whole that
Yeah,
whoever
that was
won
a nice
that,
setup.
that's such a nice setup.
That was a
But
really nice setup.
yeah, with the wheels, the biggest thing is this kind of ties into the hardtail. I had a ton of problems with the wheel that I chose for my rear wheel. I did a cast rear wheel, and I spent like a week sanding it down and polishing it. And I had all this time into it, and then when I finally put it into my frame, there was like no room for calipers and all that shit. Like I was so limited. So like you want to make sure that you're thinking about like what wheels you're going to get, and like look at like the thickness of the hub. What if you already have a caliper, like just make sure everything's going to fit. In some hardtails, they say, oh well, you can use all your stock stuff, but they're assuming you have a stock rear wheel too,
Yeah.
which I didn't. So my rear wheel I had a fucking huge pain in the ass trying to fit everything in there. But it's pretty straightforward if you get a hardtail that uses stock stuff and you have a bike and you're using the stock axle and stuff. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Simplicity wise, and then that's what I would recommend. Definitely, if it's like one of your first builds, is get use the stock front end if you have
The
to.
thing that's different though is if you decide to go narrow trees,
Yeah,
chances are you're gonna want to run well, you have to run a spoolie. So then you
true.
have to buy the front rim
Yeah,
because a regular front wheel will not fit.
yeah,
And so, like 90% of the time, I say what guys do is hopefully your bike came with spokes. If you want to do a 21 front, because then you can keep the factory spoked in the rear,
hmm,
and then just have to buy 121 spoke for the front. Whether you
yeah,
are buying one that can bolt a caliper onto it, or you're buying a spoolie, but you're
yeah.
not going to find 21 stock wheels on a Sportster.
Right. True. Um, yeah. So let's assume you're just using your stock setup, or if you go and you get a spoolie or whatever. And they're hard to come by, but they're not super expensive. Like they're typically around $100 at swap meets and shit
Mm-hmm.
around there. I don't know what eBay prices are. Probably a ton on shipping, but
Yeah,
I'd probably just buy it new if
yeah,
you're not gonna find one at a swap, because then you don't have to fucking lace it and all that bullshit. Uh, and then you got to think about your tires. There's basically a billion tire choices, but a lot of
yeah,
people have just run the same. You know,
yeah.
the
The
Avon
Avon Speedmaster.
Speedmaster. I'm a huge fan of the Baja tires. They come in two different varieties. They have the vintage high wall ones, and then they have like the more modern. And the reason that this is important is definitely for the rear of your bike. Like once you start fabricating stuff onto the frame and the fender and sissy bar and all that stuff, you need to have the tire on back on the rear that's going to be the one you're going to be running with the rim you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
running, because it's going to fuck all your spacing up. And I can't, I fucked myself because I didn't have the tire that I was going to run. I had the fucking, the Dunlop 402 on that bitch. And then I put a vintage style tire on it, which is a lot higher.
Yeah.
And I had to redo everything.
Yep.
What a pain in the ass. So when you're mocking everything up, once your frame's ready to become a roller, you got your front end, you get your tires. The front end doesn't matter that much because there's not much spacing as far as tires go. But with the rear, you have to do a lot of fabrication with the mounting the fender and mounting the sissy bar. So get at least the rear tire done. Uh, and then wheel spacers. We talk about this a lot. Don't think about it. Just check whatever you got in there. Just space
Yeah.
it out.
Just
Don't
go to
overthink it.
lowbrow and buy the wheel spacers they have. It just comes in like a stick of 3/4 inch wheel spacers. It's chrome, and you just cut to size what you need.
Yeah.
Like Rhino said, I always cut mine. I'll measure to what I need, add 1/8 of an inch, cut it. I'll cut it right on the line, so that's going to buzz a 16th off. And then I'll go fit it. It's obviously going to be a little bit long. And then I'll fucking bring it over to my belt sander. I'll whiz it up and down that a couple times, fit it again, still a little long. And I'll just grind down to what I need.
I
And then
actually,
that way there you're getting a nice flat fucking surface.
I came
But
across
don't
a really
fucking
cool. If you're going to do a wheel spacer, right? So you have a couple. You can do. Some people just throw in washers and they just stack washers up.
that's sketchy.
You can do that too. I mean, that'll space it. And you actually should do that if you're just like maybe if you're just trying to see what exactly you need. You have like different size washers, get them in there, and then you can just be like, that's how big it needs to. That's how wide it needs to be.
Hmm.
But you can do it in mild steel. That's the cheapest option. Go to Tractor Supply and get a stick of
Get all
1 inch
copper
tubing.
washers.
Yeah, stainless steel. I did mine in because it's shiny, but it's hard to cut. It's harder to shape because it's harder metal. But here's the other thing: if you have they sell aluminum. Basically, it's just aluminum tubing, right? So aluminum, any kind of tubing that's 1 inch is going to be 3/4 inch on the inside diameter, right? Uh, if it's 120 wall or whatever it is, right? So what you use for handlebars and shit like that. If it's a thinner wall, it won't be the same. So make sure. And I wasn't prepared actually. I think it's 120 wall is 3/4 inch, and that's typically what your axle is going to be
Yeah.
on a Sportster shovel head. But here's a cool tip that I actually used. I figured out because I was having a hell of a time cutting washers. If you have aluminum, so I think Lowbrow sells it just or in TC Bros and shit. Like it's just, I think it's like 6 inches of tubing that you just cut and you
Yeah.
just put it on. But if it's aluminum, you can use a pipe cutter because aluminum's soft enough. I tried it on the stainless steel and broke my pipe cutter, but you just measure out where you want it. And dude, you crank that thing down, the aluminum's soft enough, you just spin that bitch around a couple times and it'll be like a perfect cut. It'll
That's
be
dope.
straight. Yeah, dude. So if that's a little hot tip for y'all, pipe cutter, if you have a decent one, will cut through aluminum and you'll get a nice clean cut.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deburr it or anything. You don't even have to put it on the thing.
And also,
but
listen, for you to get to this step, you have to have your motor and transmission in because you line up your rear wheel off your motor and your trans. And
yeah, that's
do
another
not
mistake I made.
listen. I've made this mistake many of time. I'll line the rear wheel up. I'm like, yeah, buddy, that is centered perfectly in that fucking hardtail. And then I'll put the fender on. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah, I still have to line up my fucking sprocket. Not
Yeah.
ideal. Line up your fucking motor to your trans if you're doing a shovel, and then line up your trans to your fucking, what's it called? Your sprocket.
Yeah, definitely. Like, so you can roll around all you want at this point, right? But before you do the sissy bar in the rear fender, you want to put everything in because that wheel needs to be aligned with down that line, right? So
Yeah.
like that's an important thing. Yeah, so we could probably, so I mean, wheels is done. You got them spaced. The next thing is probably sissy bar and rear fender, right?
Yeah.
So pop in your engine, pop in the motor, pop in the trans, or if it's a Sportster, just pop the whole fucking thing in there. And then you're gonna want to. You don't need to have the chain you're running. You can just have like an old shitty chain, or even just line it up with a bar. Like I used a yardstick or something for most of my alignment stuff. Get it in the neighborhood. You want to be pretty dead dick at this point. Actually, you want to get that thing centered.
Before you mount that fender, you want to be dead fucking
Yeah,
nuts.
because that fender doesn't move, and you don't want it touching the wheel, and you want to make sure that you can adjust that wheel appropriately for chain tension and all that shit, right? But you basically chuck that wheel and you push it all the way forward, right? That's as far forward as it's going to go within the axle plate, right? Um, and then you can mock up your fender.
I would say pause here. Um, Next episode we'll get into mounting the rear fender, the sissy bar, the tank, the oil
Handlebars,
tank,
all that shit.
the
Yeah.
handlebars,
And the frame
shaping the
fab.
frame, making tabs, all that bullshit. But the other thing that you do have to worry about, so say we're at the point now where you have the motor in, and this is where you got to start from. You got to lock the motor in because the motor is only going in one fucking spot. It doesn't move side to side. So you lock your motor in. Then you lock your trans in. Get your trans lined up with your motor. After your trans is lined up with your motor, now you're going to space your rear wheel so your sprocket lines up with your trans. Once you have that done, now you put your rear brake caliper on, and you're going to have to make a brake stay. So figure out where you want to make that brake stay, where you want to go over the top, down the bottom, whatever the fuck you're going to do. Make that brake stay. And then from there, now you're ready to go. Now you have a complete roller, motor and trans is in. You have everything lined up. The good news is now you can pull that motor back out. You can pull that trans back out. And then that's where we'll pick up the next episode is now all the fab work starts. And this is the fun part. I know everybody thinks it's scary. You got to weld, you got to cut, you got to shape, you got to fucking measure.
This is the funnest
It's
stuff.
the fun part. It's when you get to use your imagination.
Creativity.
It's when you get to push yourself, try some new shit. So the next episode will be fun. It'll be a lot of fun, I promise.
The fab app.
But this one is where we're going to end. This one is we have a full roller, motor and trans is in, rear tire is in, spaced, lined up, and you're going to decide where that brake stay is going to be, what you're going to use for a brake stay, whether you're going to go right off the frame or you're going to make like a brake stay arm, whatever the fuck you're going to do. And get fucking funky with it. It doesn't have to be just a fucking piece of flat stock or a fucking piece of square stock. You know what I mean? You can get some square stock. I had some square stock and had Steel City take it and bend it and fucking twist it and make it all kinds of fucking crazy looking. And then he put it in his forge and pound the ends down. I drilled a hole through, and then I could bolt right to a tab that I made on the frame. So it doesn't just have to be like this everyday bullshit. This is where the fun starts. Find something cool. Take an old fucking Craftsman wrench and fucking turn that into a brake stay. Or, you know what I mean? Just get funky with it. This is where you get to start doing different shit, putting your little touches on the build. And this next part, so the next episode, is probably my favorite part of building. It's when you get to start designing shit on the bike. Now you have the stance. And once you have the stance, now it starts to come together in your head. You're like, okay, this is real now. This is actually a fucking motorcycle again. And now you just like, and I can't stress enough, you want to take your time on this next step. Think a little weird, quirky shit, because there's nothing cooler than anybody can build a bike that, like, when you look at it, you're like, damn, that thing's cool. But like when I'm looking at a bike, and every time I look at it, I find like a different thing that is just like, what the fuck? That's fucking cool. That's the shit that's fucking rad to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So next episode, we'll get into fab work. So making your own tabs, mounting your oil tank, mounting your gas tank, whether you're going to do a low tunnel, mid tunnel, high tunnel, Frisco style, mounting the rear fender, different kinds of brackets you can make yourself. Look, you don't have to buy any tabs for any of this shit. Even a mediocre person, if you can turn a grinder on and can fucking use a MIG, you can build every one of your tabs. You can do all of your own bungs.
This is like 90% of the build too.
Yeah. This one takes the longest.
Yeah. It takes the longest.
So we'll talk about
thoughtful.
So we'll talk about the gas tank, oil tank, the bungs, making your own fucking mounting brackets, the rear fender, the sissy bar, and then shaping the frame. Some guys don't get super detailed into the frame, but I'll tell you this, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding in the end. When your frame just looks seamless and you clean up all those factory welds, etc., it's rewarding at the end. So that's what you can expect on the next motherfucking episode. But before we close this one out, let's thank the motherfuckers that made this shit possible. Up first, we got Deadbeat Customs, the creator of the Deadbeat Retreat, where all low lives go to die. Steve has been supporting this show since the very motherfucking beginning. We got to hang out with him, chopped it up this past fucking weekend. It was a pleasure. You can now catch every episode on the fucking Deadbeat Customs blog. Oh, you didn't know they had a blog? Yeah, go check it out, deadbeatcustoms.com, where they feature local builders. They feature Chopper News. They feature fucking Dynapro News. They feature everything. Go check out the Deadbeat blog. Go to deadbeatcustoms.com. Buy some fucking chopper parts or dyna parts or bagger parts or fucking traveling fucking necessities, helmets, leather vest, fucking canvas vest, whatever you want. Steve's got it all. Get over to deadbeatcustoms.com. Use code LOWLIFE at checkout to save some motherfucking money. Oh, and tell him that we sent you so he knows we're doing our job. Next, we got Rhino Resto, inconveniently located in Henniker, New Hampshire. I'm switching it up today.
Holy shit, took me by storm. Proud purveyor of authentic vapor honer boners with a focus on vintage motorcycles and tool restoration. Friendly service, even friendlier prices. Reach out at rhino_resto on Instagram or email me at rhino@lowlifechopperpodcast.com. Is that how emails work?
That's it.
And get a quote or a joke. Last but not least,
up next, we got No Luck Paintworks, conveniently located in Manchester, New Hampshire. Every highway in the East Coast leads to Manchester. Super easy to get there. If you want to bring your build to the next fucking level, you want your paint to pop like that fucking Cardi B's pussy does, you need to get to No Luck Paintworks, because this motherfucker will make that paint popping, baby. Get over to No Luck Paintworks. Tell him you want a one-off, sexy-ass motherfucking paint job, whether it's on your chopper, diner, bagger, it does not fucking matter. You want a custom fucking sign for your garage? Cool. Dan can fucking do it. You want to paint your baby candy blue? I don't know if it's legal, but Dan can fucking do it.
Seems like child abuse.
Dan will get you right. So hit him up, No Luck Paintworks on Instagram. Up next, we got Steel City Blacksmithing, the man who twists everything metal. He fucking CNC lathes shit. He fucking does everything. If it involves metal, old fucking boy Josh can get it done, all right? He will also bring your build to the next fucking level and give you some one-off parts that ain't nobody seen before. Ask me how I know. Because he's done it for me, all right? You know what I'm saying? Get over to steelcityblacksmithing.com, Steel City Blacksmithing on Instagram, and tell them the boys from the Low Life Chopper podcast sent you. Next, we got Lowbrow Customs. Everything you need for the road ahead. Tyler and his team support everything chopper. From the East Coast to the West Coast. He's a Midwest guy. You know what I mean? So he's fucking all in the mix. He's supporting everybody. He don't care what side you're from. East Coast, West Coast, that shit don't matter to him. But he's got all the parts to get you swag the fuck out. And he supports every fucking chopper show. So the way you can return that favor is to shop at lowbrowcustoms.com, the only website where you can build an entire motherfucking chopper. I should do his ad read for his company. I'm too good at that shit. Dude. Up next, we got Stay Strong Co., the only hot sauce I like to stick in my butthole while I jerk off. This shit is delicious. It's good on your fucking hot wings. It's good on your fucking kielbasa on the grill. It's good in your cereal, your ramens, your eggs. It don't matter what you put it on. I guarantee it brings it to level 10. Okay? Listen, you're an ugly dude. You can only pull 4s for chicks. Put some fucking the shit hot sauce on her, and she's a 10, baby. All right? Get over to StayStrongCo.com, StayStrongCo on Instagram, and go get yourself some motherfucking hot sauce. And check out the other cool shit he does. He's not just a man in the garden, all right? He's building cool ass shit as well. Check him out. Last but not least, Loctite Chop Shop.
You.
conveniently located in Epping, New Hampshire. For all your pinstripe needs, hit me up at Loctite Chop Shop on Instagram or Loctite at lowlifechopperpodcast.com. Yeah, whatever you need pinstripe, let me know. You want some custom fucking garage signage? I got you. You want me to paint an oil can? I got you. You want me to fucking paint your tins? Gotcha. And when I say paint, I mean pinstripe, by the way. Don't hit me up for paint. All your pinstripe needs, hit me up. And last but not least, this show.
lowlifechopperpodcast.com has all our links. Follow us on Instagram so you get the latest chopper news. We really have our finger on the pulse of the chopper community. Go sign up for that Patreon. We do giveaways every month. Look at this month. Oxford Co Choppers. Don't miss out on that shit. And sign up for go onto the YouTube and subscribe. This actually worked when I berated everybody last week and called them a bitch and a piece of shit. We got a bunch of YouTube subscribers. So listen up,
people love that
fucking
shit.
Piece of shit.
Hey, you know what I was thinking? We could add on the website is a parts catalog.
A parts catalog?
Yeah, like where people, like if they have parts for sale or they sell, like make and sell parts, they can just drop it like a Craigslist.
Okay.
That'd be dope. Just like a forum, I guess, where people can just put shit for sale.
Yeah, like a classifieds or some shit.
Yeah. But listen, before I cut Ryan off, he was about to tell you, everything you need for Low Life Chopper Podcast is at lowlifechopperpodcast.com. Whether you want to join the Patreon, guess what? Links there. You want to buy merch? Links there. You want to email Rhino? You guessed it. Fucking links there, baby. Yeah. Anything you need to do with the show, you'll find it at lowlifechopperpodcast.com. So go check it out. We appreciate you tuning in every motherfucking week, supporting everything we do, no matter how much we suck at it. You guys stay faithful. You buy our shitty merch. You listen to our fucking raspy cigarette smoked fucking whiskey breath on the fucking microphones every week. And we're just here to tell you, we appreciate you, baby. We'll see you next week. Until then, good night.